While there are many champions in League who sorely need a visual and story overhaul, in my opinion, few need it quite as badly as Gragas. Fun fact, Gragas was actually one of the first champions I started doing a Runeterra rewrite for, but I could never finish the script because, frankly, I don't believe this is a character who can be salvaged without changing up his design and voice lines. The core of his character is literally based around being gross. He's a fat drunkard running around in nothing but a loincloth who has actual belching in some of his voice lines. Okay, in all fairness, there is a little more to Gragas' character if you dig past the surface. Gragas is a brewmaster. His entire livelihood is about making alcohol. However, Gragas doesn't make any normal alcohol. In his original bio, the man inadvertently set up shop near a Nexus crystal, which somehow imbued his creations with arcane energy through sheer proximity. In simpler terms, Gragas makes magical booze, and that's why his barrels can explode and give him buffs. To be honest, that's about all there really is to his original bio. Gragas was a hermit making magical booze who somehow got picked up by the League of Legends due to his legendary ferocity in bar fights. Needless to say, when the League got retconned out of existence, Gragas' lore needed an update. Though his current bio on Universe is really more of a placeholder than anything, or so it seems. Not only that, but it's actually wildly inconsistent. His new bio blurb goes as follows. Equal parts jolly and imposing, Gragas is a massive, rowdy brewmaster on his own quest for the perfect pint of ale. Hailing from parts unknown, he now searches for rare ingredients among the unblemished wastes of the Freljord, trying each recipe as he goes. Often intoxicated and extremely impulsive, he is legendary for the brawls he starts, which often end in all-night parties and widespread property damage. Any appearance from Gragas must surely foreshadow drinking and destruction, in that order. That might not sound so bad on the surface, but then you read his extended backstory and notice a few contradictions. The story claims that Gragas' constitution actually makes him extremely resilient to alcohol, which in turn prevents him from actually getting drunk. This is a real thing, by the way, but I'm not really an expert on the subject, so I'd advise looking it up for yourselves if you're interested. Anyways, Gragas' goal is simple. He wants to get drunk, but effectively can't. This goes against his short bio that says he's often intoxicated, as well as his voice lines that make it very clear the man is drunk.
I'll drink you under the table, scrub.
Beyond that, Gragas' extended backstory also presents some other inconsistencies. It's not clear where exactly he's from, but the story goes that he wandered into the Freljord hoping that glacial spring water would enhance his drink enough to give him a buzz. Never mind that adding water to alcohol dilutes it and makes the whole thing less potent. Oh, but that's not even the worst part. This man, dressed only in a loincloth, manages to stumble his way through a blizzard and stumbles across a shard of true ice that he uses to enhance the contents of his keg. Alright, a few things first. Gragas manages not only to trudge through the tundra, but a freaking snowstorm wearing nothing but a loincloth. I know that there are plenty of other champions running around the Freljord shirtless, but at least they kind of have an excuse of being natives to the region. Like, Braum is iceborn, Udyr can call upon the spirits for protection, and Tryndamere is literally too angry to die. Yes, it all comes off as rather contrived, but at least Riot tries to give them an excuse. Gragas literally gets nothing. Oh, but it gets even more insane than that. Remember that shard of true ice I mentioned? For those unfamiliar or who just need a reminder, true ice is magically infused ice that naturally occurs only in certain regions of the Freljord. It's more durable than most metals and nigh impossible to melt. The only thing we've seen capable of doing so is Ornn's primal fire. Here's the kicker though. True ice is also so cold that it can freeze or frostbite any living thing it touches. The only ones who can avoid this fate are the Iceborn, aka natural born ice mages. Even with frost magic in your blood, though, you can still feel the biting cold of true ice just by touching it. So actually wielding the stuff takes determination and practice. Unless you're Gragas, I guess. Yeah, this man can just casually take a shard of true ice and plop it in his drink no problem, despite not even being from the Freljord, the only place we currently know of where Iceborn can even be born. Like, his constitution making him super resilient to alcohol is one thing, but that should not also make him immune to below freezing temperatures. Gragas' backstory not only contradicts his own bio, but also established canon and even basic logic. Moving on. After chilling his drink with a shard of true ice, Gragas blindly stumbled into a meeting between the Avarosa and two unnamed tribes that Ash was trying to forge a treaty with, where things were getting rather heated. The oaf basically manages to start a bar fight at a political meeting and, after the dust had settled, agrees to share his drink with everyone around. Apparently, the true ice actually made his alcohol so delicious that former enemies were able to bond over their shared love of Gragas' booze. But even then, despite being magically enhanced, this alcohol still wasn't strong enough to get Gragas properly drunk. So, yeah, Gragas' bio is just ridiculous. Look, there are comical champions in the game, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with having sillier characters to balance things out in the roster. However, one can only suspend disbelief so much when a joke starts to defy not only the lore but also common sense. And really, that's what Gragas is. He's a joke. A fat joke. That is the core of his character, and frankly, it's not even really all that funny. Also, when you stop and think about it, Gragas' new lore is kind of like a repeat of Olaf's. Olaf wants a glorious death in battle, but he keeps accidentally beating everything that tries to kill him, while Gragas wants to get drunk but literally can't. At least Olaf has the benefit of variety. You can tell all sorts of stories about him fighting monsters and powerful mages and narrowly coming out on top thanks to his berserker rage. But what about Gragas? The best you can do is just have him putting weird stuff in his keg in the hopes that it will finally give him a buzz and occasionally causing drunken shenanigans wherever he goes. So, what can be done? How could we revamp Gragas' character in a way that brings him up to League's modern design and storytelling standards? Honestly, I've been struggling with that question for a while now. And I think I might have found an answer. As I said before, Gragas is an inherently comedic character, which makes it hard to write him in a more serious tone like that of modern Runeterra. I mean, people generally disliked the Mundo rework because it couldn't really find a proper balance between the two, and Gragas risks making the same mistakes if one isn't careful. One of my earlier attempts at rewriting Gragas drew a bit from ancient Greek mythology. Dionysus, the god of wine, is considered a prominent figure in the Olympian pantheon, though his story is a long and fascinating affair. We won't get too deep into that here, but needless to say, many of the festivals surrounding the god of wine involved getting drunk. In fact, there are records to indicate that some cults may have even been seen getting intoxicated as entering a form of enlightenment. I suppose that's not too unbelievable, given that certain religious groups have also historically used certain substances to glimpse the divine. So here's a basic rundown for how I'd go about altering Gragas' story. Hailing from a devout but unorthodox tribe of Freljordian spirit worshippers, Gragas seeks enlightenment through intoxication. His people believe that numbing the mind through drink allows them to more easily commune with the land's ancient guardians. The stronger the drink, the deeper the connection. With the voices of the spirit growing more distant and discordant in recent years, Gragas wanders the Freljord seeking to concoct ever stronger brew, hoping to perfect a recipe that will allow him and his people to commune with the old gods like his ancestors did. Along the way, Gragas leaves a trail of merriment and carnage in his wake, always on the hunt for new techniques and ingredients that will bring him one step closer to his goal. Here, we have a Gragas whose lore is a bit more serious, but still leaves plenty of room for drunken shenanigans. He still wanders the land seeking to make the perfect drink and gets into plenty of bar fights, but now there's a deeper purpose to it. You could use the opportunity to put Gragas in more traditional Freljordian attire, though add a unique spin on it to emphasize his people's unique culture. Character design isn't my forte, though, so I'll leave that to your imagination. Of course, that's just my take on the character, and there's plenty of other directions to go in. So, what do you all think? How would you change up Gragas' character, given the chance? Leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I'll see you all next time.